Okay, now we will go for the first panel of the day. So it's about mobile apps and array of features that a lot of banks are introducing in the mobile banking apps. So we anticipate a future whereas these apps will offer a wide range of services beyond traditional banking functions like deposits or loans. Let's delve into this trend and explore how banks are shaping the future and creating a super app. So I will introduce our distinguished panelists, starting with Daniel Petrovici, Coordinating Manager, Retail Cards, Projects and Data Analytics, Banca Transilvania. Mugur Podaru, Director for Remote Operations at Czech Bank. Alina Iacomi, Tribe Lead Digital ING Bank. Adina Damaschin, Counsel at Schoenherr and Asociații. And last but not least, Alexandru Mitroi, Global Technical Director and Solutions Engineering at Temenos. Welcome. And, I have one more mic here. You don't have it, right? Okay, so first of all, thanks for joining and for attending our conference in Brașov. I know it was quite a long trip, so once again, thank you for being here. I would start with, let's say, a standard question about what does a super app mean for each of you that are representing the banks here in the panel. So how do you plan to achieve maybe a super app status, let's say, and what really means for you right now? So, Dorian.
Thank you for having me, first of all. Yes, it's a big endeavor for every one of us. If we think about it, the initial super app, which was WeChat, at least by many, it was about making sure that you deliver to the customer on several levels, several layers, and making sure that it's not only about delivering services, but delivering a diversity of services. WeChat was, first of all, a daily app, a messages app, and was transformed into a wallet, and after that evolved further and further and further. And I don't think it stops evolving at some point. I think it's important to get as close to the customer as possible. So I think in a way it's about diversity of the features that you implement, but it's not diversity for the sake of diversity. Is about relevance and making sure that you're delivering on customer expectations. And for this, you have to know your customer. You have to anticipate its needs, and it's about offering experiences, not necessarily experience that you offer as the holder of the application. Amazon doesn't offer only their products. It's a matter of offering complementary experiences from the partners, from yourself as a company, and it's about, in a way, about personalization, because each customer has to feel special in a way, and you have to anticipate its own needs and make sure that there is a connection, emotional connection with the app. So if I would have to choose two words, I think it would be simplicity and relevance.
Okay, thanks. Alina?
Hello everyone, yes. Thank you first of all for having me here. When talking about super apps and ING, to me actually the answer is easy. ING Home Bank, actually, and you don't have to, take my word for granted. I will explain why I believe that. First of all, it has not only to do with the fact that Home Bank, for example, as an internet service was launched 17 years ago. Remember what we were doing 17 years ago? Of course, as a website only back then, or because that the mobile app actually of Home Bank exists since 2012. But today, when we look of a mobile app like Home Bank, dedicated to the retail clients of ING Bank, it really represents what we call the powerhouse behind, let's say, a strategic position of the bank in Romania to be actually a digital forerunner. Think of the entire client portfolio of a bank like ING in Romania. We talk about 1.6 million clients, and actually, if we are to look at all the contacts that this kind of people have with the bank during a year, 99.4% of them, 99.4%, happen in Home Bank, and only the rest in other human or assisted channels. And out of these, let's say, millions of interactions, hundreds of millions actually a year, 97% happen in the mobile app. We have intentionally built Home Bank to represent the digital face of ING Bank in Romania. We think of it as the bank in the client's pockets, or purses, actually, and we are now very, very close to digitalizing the entire value proposition of products and services addressed to the retail clients. Once in the app, a client can use a variety of features. Here I totally agree, a super app must provide a multitude of features of different categories. When we talk about banking, of course, payments are the most used ones, requests for payments of multiple kinds, but also the entire range of other banking products, of course, accounts, savings, financing products, investments. And it's not only about features or products, about acquiring or about managing your daily portfolio. Home Bank is an app in which we communicate to the clients, and also we have tried to go a bit beyond banking, to bring in also functionalities that are not from the banking space, but actually may be relevant for the clients. Like a shopping proposition, we call it ING Bazaar, or for example, like managing loyalty cards issued by various merchants in the country. So it's about convenience, actually. It's about relevance. I totally agree. It's about easiness also, about speed of execution, and about personalized experience. And I would also add some other key ingredients here, because I don't think you can have a super app without super good technical performance, without availability, and without resilience. And if I am actually to sum up what a super app like Home Bank actually means to me, is a mobile app that gets the job done for the client and does it in with the best customer experience possible.
Thanks a lot. Mugur, I know that you've invested a lot at Czech Bank in the last years, and you've introduced a lot of new features. So you are clearly on the path to becoming a super app. How do you comment that? And what's the plans for transforming Czech mobile app into a super app?
First of all, thank you for inviting me at this summit.
Our pleasure.
Broadly speaking, a super app must provide to the customers a simple, transparent and fast flow of information without any trips to the bank and without waiting time to get something from the bank by courier or kind of like that. So the mobile banking is first of all a virtual branch in customer hands. They can do almost everything they want with their app. Mobile banking is also a document management platform, because clients can see over there in real time their contracts, their loan details, and so on and so forth, IDs, or everything in relationship with the bank. It's also a KYC tool, because the clients can upload documents and can make a KYC, a fully KYC during on 100% online flow. And the next one is maybe the most important because it is a marketing and communication tool. The clients have their in-app messages, so the bank can send in-app messages, push notification. The bank can show banners and can feed desired content between login and the first page of the app with advertising or kinds like that. Also, with the mobile banking platform, you can withdraw money without a physical card. This is important because you can have money from ATMs without using a physical card. And you also can send a QR code to somebody else from another locality, and he can withdraw money with this QR code. It's facilitating the issue of the virtual cards. Nowadays, most of the clients like to use virtual cards. So with mobile banking, you have all what you need to do that. It's also an operational channel where the clients can request and obtain other products and services. And not the least, the last, you can bring money from other cards to your card open at Czech Bank.
Okay, got it. Thanks a lot. I will go now to maybe some perspectives from the technical and the legal side of trying to get to the super app. So, Alexandru, I don't know, it's the complex technology landscape because we see in banking a lot of high tech, let's say. This complex technology is like a blocker in the transformation process of mobile banking into a super app. How do you see it?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Definitely, I'm the kid in the block. Yeah, so I'm going to start boring people now because I'm going to talk about technology. And I agree with every single participant in the panel that, well, all the things which has been said are true, 100%. But when it comes to technology, in order to achieve those type of experiences, high availability, performance, which is part of what being a super app means, but in my opinion, it's a bit more than that. Technology is key, and the reason for that is because in the real world, if we think about it, you have within a bank two groups of people. Yeah? So you have the group of people which their job is to create new products, create new experiences, and basically streamline all these journeys for the clients. And they do that very well, at least in Romania. I'm very proud because most of the banks are quite good at digital. But the second part of the bank is the technical people, which have inherited during the years a lot of complexity in the systems. Yeah. So running a bank is not an easy feat, and adding new features with years is becoming quite cluttered. Yeah. So there are blockers in terms of technology between these two groups of people, because although I would like from the business perspective to have a new product and to have it in 1 week because it's important for me, the IT guys will sometimes say, okay, that's difficult or that's even impossible. Yeah? And that comes to technology. Nobody cares about the technology because it's basically the means to create a super app. but it's really, really important in actually achieving that. And yeah, when it comes to complexity, I think you need a good backbone. And of course, we talk about digital banking, but in order to have a very good digital experience, you will rely on subsequent systems, core banking, one or multiple, which usually are not necessarily the newest in the market. Yeah. Because changing a core banking system is very difficult, it's very time consuming and very expensive. Yeah. But a super app will start from the bottom up. Yeah.
Okay, so being straightforward here, would you recommend the change of the core banking before?
Not necessarily, but it's because it's a difficult thing to do. Yeah. So doesn't have to be the first step, but we don't have to forget the fact the digital platforms, no matter how good they are, they rely on data, which is usually not sitting in that digital platform. And at some point, you will just cap and not be able to do much more. Yeah. And constant evolution is the key to being a super app. If we look to all the Asian market super apps, it's a iteration. So it never stops. It's not a journey. We build this and now we're for sure a super app.
Okay.
And yeah, there are several layers to that.
Okay, thanks a lot. I'll go to Adina now because I want to know also the legal perspective. So there are a lot of changes that banks should make in their mobile apps to introduce new features and so on. But from a legal expert's perspective, what are the key features of a banking super app?
Thank you for having me. I will just list what sticks out to me as a lawyer when looking at a super app or a super app to be, if we are to be precise in our space here. I would say that you need to look at a large user base, basically mostly consumers at this point in time. Then you need to add a marketplace ecosystem or experience. You need to integrate other services or other features in there in order to attract more and more users. Then, of course, you will collect a lot of data that you need to make smart use of. You need to crunch that data and build on that data for your future growth as a bank. Payment integration is a given if we are speaking about super apps developed by banks. And then you need to bring all of this together in a manner that is seamless and very convenient to the client, while at the same time relying on your system, on your IT system. So I would liken this to a swan floating on a river very, very peacefully, while below the surface things are moving very, very fast.
Okay, nice metaphor. What legal changes can be anticipated on the road to checking the key components of you mentioned before? I mean, I'm sure that there are quite a few legal challenges.
Well, yes, there are a lot of challenges, and unfortunately, always legal levels of regulation or regulation are naturally one step behind technology. But at this point, personally, what I would see as being some challenging points would be the consumer protection perspective, because once you start bringing in retailers into your mobile app, you need to think about, or as a bank, we need to think about whether we expose ourselves to risk, to liability, whether any of those retailers or third-party providers fail to deliver. And here I would think that first a bank needs to be very careful, needs to curate very, very carefully who they bring into the app. This will be a first level of protection. And secondly, making sure that within the app, it's very visible where lies the liability for those services or goods that are being purchased from the third-party retailers. Yeah, another aspect would be, of course, data protection. I've spoken about collecting a lot of data and using that data in order to support your future growth of the bank and of the mobile app in general. Here, we need to strike a balance between using smart data tools like analytics, data analytics, like predictive analytics, AI, why not? While at the same time trying not to lose the trust of our customers. Of course, in the EU space, customers are a lot more sensitive to data protection breaches, and as a bank, you really do not want to lose that faith that they have placed in you. I would think about outsourcing implications in case you don't want to rely fully on your existing on-premises IT systems. Here, there's a lot to talk about regulatory requirements and how to protect the bank from various data or security breaches and so on and so forth. And last and not least, the contractual arrangements that the bank will enter into with those retailers have to be carefully negotiated to make sure that the risk is allocated properly. So outside of the bank, obviously, as much as possible. So that's my take in very short.
Thanks a lot. Very useful. Okay, Dorian, I know that you're a big fan of data analytics, as the function says. So what role does data analytics play in building the features your customers want? Because I believe there's a decision you take for each feature you are introducing in BT app or in BT Pay. So how do we decide what feature to introduce next?
Not only features, but speaking about data, I was counting, I think that every one of us had said the word data at least once. And I think, I don't want to start with cliche because everybody will get bored, like data is the new oil and things like this. When we speak about data, nothing can exist nowadays without data. First of all, I think it's at the layer of the foundation between the bank and the customers, because customers have an expectation to be known. They really expect for us to deliver what they need without asking too many questions, and most of all, without taking too much of their time. And this means that we have to know them, and this means that a super app has to really know its customers and make sure that delivers on the experience side. And data is not only about the relationship and the customers. You said about data protection. You spoke about security. Everything is data related today, and everything needs the power of the data to generate relevance for whatever aspect of either the customer or the bank or the experience, security, whatever. And not only security and know your customers, but as you said, in choosing the right features that you deliver and that we deliver is most important. So if we think about it, we started from an app that was a wallet, and card was in the center of it. But the most important thing was that we learned about customers and our customers and what was important. And for this, you also need to measure the results of what you deliver. So here again, data is critical to make sure that you incorporate the feedback of the customers and basically fail fast, because customers can understand not necessarily mistakes but errors as long as you correct them in due time. So everything is data related nowadays. We spoke about AI. That's nothing more than a big, huge data crunching machine.
Clearly. Yeah. Okay, Alina, I have a curiosity here because I know that you have a lot of, a good share of your clients are from Gen Z or even younger generations. What new expectation does this younger generations have when interacting with a mobile app? Because I'm sure that they are different from someone at, I don't know, 50 years. Maybe they need just some kind of payments and deposits or so, and people at 20, they would definitely need anything, other types of features.
Indeed, indeed. Yes, they have different expectations, but not only, actually, and you're right. I mean, when we talk about the younger generations, Gen Z, but even younger than that, the children actually of today, this was a very hot topic, let's say, in the industry, I believe, recently, and we were also involved deeply with some recent researches and studies here. And what we found out, actually, is that the clients that are now part of the younger generation, they get, when using a mobile banking app, they get the main sources of satisfaction from the following. First of all, the variety of features. So this is something common. They appreciate this as well as all the other categories of clients. But then they appreciate the ease of navigation in the app. Yeah, so this should be very easy and smooth and, I don't know, self-explanatory. And also the speed of operations, mainly payments, indeed here. When we look at the home bank clients, for example, the features that they use mostly are the payment to a friend and the split the bill, because yes, this relies on the phone number of their friends and it's very easy actually to do it. The discounts and the cashback in ING Bazaar, they appreciate discounts and actually as few commissions as possible when dealing with banking, and also the roundup and all the savings products. And this is somehow not surprising because we did some interviews and researches, and we noticed that although the young people noticed the fact that they can acquire financing products directly from the mobile app, the interest level was very low, while the savings accounts generated much more appeal. Also, they have a bit of different expectations in terms of UI and the layout of the application. They appreciate a modern layout with no text or no lengthy text, but rather with a catchy content, preferably video-based. And again, when we ask them, okay, how about home bank? What do you like here? They mentioned the how should I put it, the architecture of the information, yeah, how the information is organized, the fact that it is easy to understand. And what they are looking for actually in the banking app are not necessarily products. For the young people, yeah, the banking product is super boring. They look for experiences and they want to have the perception that the bank speaks to them in their own language. This was important, and probably the most important of them all is the financial education. Even from very early ages, they expect the bank to support them and to guide them with advice and insights on how they can optimize the use of their money.
Okay. Thanks a lot. I would go to Mugur because your Czech is a traditional bank, and this is the oldest, let's say, bank in Romania, and you have a focus on serving all types of customers in Romania. So from I don't know, older generations to newer ones, to younger ones. But regarding strictly Generation Z or even younger ones, the mobile first generations, what is your strategy to offer value to these types of these clients and to younger generations?
Overall, our plan is to develop an omni-channel based model, where a Czech bank will keep their branches and both on both part of the business. So we'll keep our footprint over the country, and we'll develop digital channels with all features that they need. Czech Bank is an important pillar in terms of population access to the financial banking services, considering the size of the branch network. We have maintained and continue to maintain our territorial footprint, which is having now more than 1,000 branches. We are the biggest bank from this point of view. Even if supporting a network of units of this size puts pressure on profitability, we have assumed a social role in the context where Romania is behind developed states in terms of financial inclusion. Only 7 of 10 Romanians have a bank account, compared to almost 100% in the European Union. So presence with a physical network is still necessary because people need advice and assistance. About youth people and kids and Generation Z, we are trying to be close to them, and we develop features they need. I mean, gamification, for example, which is a feature that they ask for. And one of the main requests from them was to make application with dark mode function. Is what they need. So this is about our plans for the future and for the young people.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Very interesting feature, the dark mode. I know that it's quite popular in different types of apps. So, okay, Adina, I was curious now because the other speakers talked about the younger generation and different features they deliver to younger generations. What are the maybe different kind of legal challenges when addressing to kids? Because some banks offer cards for kids, so it's different from a, I don't know, legal perspective to sell, let's say, a product to some kids, because yeah, the parents should be the legal entities that are signing for the cards and so on. But I believe that there are different types of challenges.
Yes, I thought about this, and I was also paying attention to marketing campaigns for this type of products. My impression from those campaigns were that they were really good, thought through, because actually they are addressed to the parents mostly. They are fun, they look like, okay, this is engaging also for kids, but in fact it's the parents who get informed about that feature being available in case they want to give more independence to their kids, while at the same time retaining control over their spending levels or habits or what have you. Yeah. So, and of course, if we are speaking about opening bank accounts, it's still not possible for an underage person to open an account. It's still their parents who are doing that. But the features implemented by banks are really, really helpful because, as Alina said, kids are more and more interested in financial education, in managing their money once they get to that point in their life, which I think is only to be celebrated at this point. And to also refer to what Mr. Podaru said, it's also a very good idea from Czech Bank point of view to address other segments of kids in Romania who maybe are not that digitally savvy as others. It's important for them to catch up in this race because obviously this is the direction we're heading towards.
Okay, thanks a lot. Alexandru, we talked about the mobile first generation, and it's definitely the main generation that will be the base of the bank's customers. But now we see a lot of AI traction, so we see maybe in a few years we'll talk about AI first generation. So I was curious, how do you see it from your experience, from your technical experience, let's say? How do you foresee AI impacting the transformation process of a standard mobile banking app and going to a super app?
Well, globally, what I'm currently seeing is there is already traction on the AI side. Of course, to a certain degree. I mean, you will find banks which use it just to take simple decisions like next best product or stuff like that. And of course, is relying on a lot of data, coming back to data. But we see also banks which are pushing the envelope much further when it comes to AI. Now, of course, in the last year, there's been like a boom with ChatGPT. If that is really applicable within the banking context, probably not necessarily that type of generative AI. But AI can be used in many smart ways in order to improve the straight-to processing of various products, and of course to understand the client and provide those customized experience. Yes, because it's easy to have client brackets and display different features and different UI based on client brackets, because you basically do that at runtime. You define what type of client you are, and at login time you personalize the experience. Where I believe AI is going to is basically decide for every single client at login time what should be the experience. Yeah, but that means a lot of data. It means a lot of technology. It means a lot of training models, because AI is not magic. Yeah, it's a lot of models which needs to learn what they need to do. Yeah? And when it comes to the regulatory compliance, and I'm going to finish the topic with this. My role is a global one, so I see different regulatory requirements in various regions of the world. Yeah, and when it comes to using AI, it needs to be explainable, because otherwise it's becoming very quickly a regulatory issue. Because if the bank can't explain decisions which were made, if it's a black box, that's not good. Yeah, and there's been examples of this happening in the past. So in Temenos, we started building on the AI topic far behind the last year. So we started, I believe, in 2019, and we, for various products, we push in new models and new features in order to improve those experiences.
Okay, got it. Thanks a lot. I will try now to maybe push the discussion towards the balance between simplicity and a lot of features. So, Dorian, starting with Dorian, how do you keep this balance? Because from a user perspective, it's quite annoying sometimes to see a banking app and to have so many features, and it's some kind of clutter there, and you don't seem to choose very fast your need. You used to find very fast your need you enter an application and you don't find very fast the payment section or the, I don't know, send to a friend question. So how do you keep this balance between clutter and clutter? Let's say enough features and simplicity.
You got me initially, so I'm a data person. I'll go back to the data every time. Just joking. I said it initially, and Alexandru confirmed me that the super app is an evolution machine. So I was thinking about our application. We thought about it for quite a while, from 2013. In 2017, we really got to work, and when we launched it, it was a wallet, and it evolved, and it continues to evolve, and it kind of became a super app. But also the market evolved. I was thinking that if we would have launched an application with the level of complexity, us or ING or whatever nowadays, from the beginning, back then 2018 when we did it, I don't think the market would have received it very, very well. So everybody evolves in the end. Even the customer evolves, the legislation evolves. I see, because you spoke about Gen Z, let's spoke about the alphas. Because nowadays we deliver to the alphas, and alphas are even more eager to receive, as you said, just the main message without any text, without anything. So everybody evolves in this landscape, and even the legislation, but everything is based on data. Although we have to be careful at some point, because AI is technically nothing more than a big discrimination machine, and we have to be careful there.
Yeah. So Temenos has a solution for that. So it's called explainable AI. So basically you push data in, it will take whatever decision it's going to take, so you can't really alter the decision, but it's going to explain you why it came to that decision. Because there were cases of big discrimination between races and between men and women. So it's AI. It's a journey. Yeah.
But to sum up my answer, I think it's based on data and based on the idea of fail fast. Fail fast is nowadays the mantra of everybody. It's not about knowing it all, because nobody likes to know it all, but it's about making correction and adapting.
Okay. Alina, Dorian mentioned about Generation Alpha, and I know that you recently launched cards for kids, so I know that more parents are requesting cards for their children. Is like a trend. I don't know how big is right now, but for sure there will be more and more parents that are asking for cards for their kids. How are you preparing the mobile app for Generation Alpha? I mean, maybe it's time to start talking about next generation, not just Gen Z.
Indeed, and actually it's not that recently anymore. In December it will be a year. To me, that year was long, yeah. And you are very right, actually. We noticed this real need for the parents to have a modern option to give money to their children. Not with cash, not with banknotes, not with piggy banks, what I was having in my days. And this is why when we designed ING Young, this is the name of our value proposition, which actually means home bank for children, we decided to go beyond the card and an account for the child, and actually allow the child to have a full mobile experience in home bank, of course adjusted in order to present only the relevant services for the child. As Adina was saying, the whole process is started by the parent. So the parent is the one who decides that he wants to, I don't know, give his child this kind of service. It's done by the parent in his own home bank app. In the end of the process, with ING Young, the child gets his own home bank with his own credentials, the card, the account, the possibility to enroll the card into a mobile payments wallet or a savings account. And actually what was one of the most appreciated features of this entire proposition was the parental control. Again, I'm agreeing very much to what Adina was saying. The parents feel the need to be in control. So now the parent, again in his own home bank app, has full and continuous access to all the accounts and the transaction of the child, and has the possibility to anytime, I don't know, adjust the payment limits or reset the password or even restrict and block the access if the child did not behave. This was done last year, and again this year we looked again how can we improve this, what else is there. This may be a bit funny, but one of the biggest things asked by the children was the possibility to deposit money, cash actually, at ATM, and we realized that probably there are still a lot of grandparents that give some gift to the child in form of real cash. And again, what will come very soon will be the payment to a friend, so to the phone number, also allowed for the child as well. Next year, very soon, but next year, the child to have the possibility to request for money to the parents. Of course, this is again something highly anticipated by the children, and also some improvements in the saving space. You know, give the child the possibility to save, to set a saving goal, to save for, I don't know, computer or gadget he wants to buy, you know, and to be rewarded actually for the money he saves.
Interesting times.
It's a very attractive, you know, category of clients. It's very interesting to see how the child reacts to what you're doing as a bank, and when he says, "Okay, I don't understand anything. What's here?" Then you realize that you need to change a bit.
Yeah, very nice. Okay, Mugur, I have I guess one more question for you about the challenges you've encountered in the process of transforming the mobile app, because I think that the process started like 3 years ago or so. So 3 years ago, Czech app was totally different, and now it's like top notch, and you have a lot of features in the app. So what were the challenges you have encountered? Legal, technological challenges?
Indeed, Czech Bank continues to invest in its transformation and digital evolution program. And in concrete figures, the value of the investment made in the first 6 months of this year is around 84 million lei. And we are not talking just only mobile banking or our marketplace. We are talking about entire bank. We have 1,300 new ATMs from the new generation, which has been over 56% increase. We also have 156% increase at selling soft POS, and so on and so forth. One of our goals is to constantly increase the usage of products obtained on a digital stream. And this is an ongoing process for us, which started a few years ago, continues now, and in the years to come. In fact, Czech Bank is the first bank in Romania who launched since 2020 what we call check-in, and is not check-in from the Facebook, is check_in, which is our marketplace where the customers can obtain loans, overdraft, or even can be onboarded on a fully digital flow. About our developments on mobile banking platform, I would say we are always in the first lane with launches, and I speak about instant payments, payments to the phone numbers, what we call alias pay, and so on and so forth. Now we are working at RoPay system, which is alternative for the payments with the cards. I hope we will also be the first bank in Romania, of course with other banks, but in the first line which will launch this feature.
Okay, got it. Thanks. One more question for you, Alexandru, because we've talked about the clutter versus simplicity, and I wanted to know from a technological perspective, how do you maintain a lean and a stable infrastructure?
It's a difficult endeavor, and especially when you talk about super apps, you will require a lot of both internal integration, but most likely external integration with different providers. So keeping it clean does require to have the backbone in place, and that should be, in theory, a platform which can enable you to deploy and to maintain the applications in an omnichannel way. So you don't end up with different integrations for different channels. So the mobile app has a set of integrations, internet banking another set of integrations, and like this it gets really, really difficult to maintain. So ideally it's one technology and one platform, at least from the digital perspective. Yeah. So let's ignore all the trouble with core banking and other existing systems of the bank. We just talk about the digital one. Ideally is to have one platform to maintain, deploy, and be able to constantly iterate. Because if you look to the neobanks, because everyone, I mean, with most of the banks I speak on a daily basis, they have this type of example. And it's both for the technical people, but also for the functional business people. And they have examples as the new neobanks. The advantage of the neobanks primarily is they start usually from a clean sheet. Yeah, that's the big advantage, and they run everything on the same platform. And this is why they are able to iterate so quick. So I'm not going to give names of neobanks because it's not fair. But if you look to the iteration pace of some of the apps, you will see that they upgrade the app every single 2 or 3 days. Yeah? In order to be able to achieve that, you need to have a platform. Yeah? That is the main feature, I would say.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. So we have 10 minutes, and I think it's time to take some questions from the audience. So please, if you have questions, yeah. And then another one here after.
It's the red button. No, it's here.
It's, my colleague will...
No, it works. Thank you. My name is Nick Balăceanu. I represent a Romanian FinTech Association. So that's why I don't know how to use the button of the microphone. Question is, you talk about super apps. I see you guys, I know some of you here. You work for the same bank for 20 years or so. Talking about Mugur, Alina, and the other guy, Dorian. This is the age of the Generation Z, right? The Zoomers. So maybe you already have them or you know them since then. Question is, how do you see as banks and traditional banks the new apps, super apps of fintech companies? I mean, I represent the fintech companies here, and we have super apps like Rike or Pago and many others. Do you perceive us as a competitor or a partner, or just no one of this? Thank you.
Okay, for the banks.
I'll dare try and answer here. All of them, I would say. The ability to evolve is the ability to learn. And if we want to go further and make sure that we deliver super apps, we all have to learn one from another. And besides this, if we burn our grounds, banks with fintechs, nothing good will come out of this. So I think the old term was like frenemies at some point. But the bottom line here is that we all have to learn from each other, and what is good must prevail in the end, and the interest of the customer should prevail.
More or less in the same line, actually. I wanted to answer a little bit of both, but to tell more, I believe that fintechs are healthy and welcomed competitors in the market in Romania and potential partners whenever the right opportunity appears. I believe a stronger market is for the benefit of all, and firstly and foremostly to the consumer. A strong player in the market forces all of us actually to evolve, and this is the beauty of the game, because you're right. Yeah, probably many of us here are in the same place for many years, but it was never the same, you know. This is actually the beauty and what keeps you going. And you also mentioned the Generation Z. Just as a funny fact, I'm amongst the oldest in my team. Yeah, I think that the average age in the home bank team is 27. So I myself have the opportunity to learn a lot from this kind of people. Thank you.
We don't see fintechs like competitors. We are using their products. We have a lot of collaboration with fintechs, and we will continue to do that.
Okay, Dorian, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I wanted to propose a metaphor at some point, because you said that all of us have been quite some time in the banking system. And nowadays we're speaking about super apps. But my personal opinion is that we had a super app. I'm looking at MasterCard's logo here. Cards, in my opinion, are the super apps that were before the nowadays super apps, because by their simplicity and relevance and the fact that they generate day-by-day banking, the fact that they emulate the most the customer needs and they are at the basis of these needs, is kind of like a super app. And why a super app? Because the card seems very, I don't know, very easy to understand. But if you take a look at the systems behind the cards and what are there in MasterCard, in Visa, and all the technologies, and what is behind all the scenes, I think is a seamless super app. And I couldn't refrain myself to touch upon one of my favorite topics.
Okay, no problem. I think we have one more question there.
Can you hear me? Yeah. So, hello everyone, my name is Adina, I come from the technical sector. Alexandru, thank you very much for mentioning neobanks, because if you were not to, I was going to. One thing that I wanted to ask you, because you kept talking about super apps, but at the same time you have kind of different opinions and they do not fully align to the others. You keep talking about great features and maybe dark mode and maybe all kinds of options that people not fully use, honestly. And about neobanks, well, one advantage that they have is that they're fully digital. And my question to you is, when do the traditional banks, which people trust actually, will actually become fully digital from a client perspective?
Should I dare? Going further with what Alexandru said, our legacy systems are very, very heavy. And the ability to start from scratch. The ability of the new beginner, as Steve Jobs said, is very, very important. So this is the most, in my opinion, the biggest advantage of the neobanks. And I assure you that all the banks are working in this regard day and night, and we are changing core systems and we are changing tons of systems, but the synergies and the implications are really, really generating tons of effort. It's the biggest endeavor in the banking system. We look at the neobanks as examples, as something to follow, but it's not easy.
Let me try and answer. I mentioned earlier, I believe in one of my first interventions, that in ING, 99.4% of all the interactions of retail clients happen already digitally. I think it's also a bit of semantics here. Is this now a digital bank, ING, or is it a traditional bank? But I don't think that matters that much, because in the end I believe that the bank has to have the right channels and the right combination of channels to answer to the customer needs. Yes, in Romania today, most consumers prefer to go to an advisor, to an officer to discuss mortgage. Yeah, they are going to take a loan for the next 30 years. Well, they don't feel that easy to do it from the couch in an app, you know. They feel the need to go to discuss, to go through some documents together and stuff like that. And I believe that as long as any bank manages, you know, to offer this kind of combined advisory in digital or in traditional, I believe this will be a success. I don't look at it as a purpose in itself, you know, give up the branches. The consumers needs to be ready, and in the end, we don't want to provoke, you know, any kind of damage around there.
Okay, thank you very much. But at the same time, this goes to the second question that I had in mind. Okay. Basically, that 99.4% that you talked about, and when people need an advisory, usually is about maybe a credit or something like that. And earlier you spoke about the education, the financial education. So right now there are one or maybe two instruments that banks usually offer. What about the other 7, 8, or 9 of them? I mean, you're talking about basically deposits, which is the number one financial instrument that you offer. But there are a ton of them available in other types of banks, and maybe the traditional banks should offer them as well.
And actually, this is a big opportunity to make use of the data that we all have, and to, let's say, put to good use the analytics powers that the bank have, you know, in order to give like the personal advice that probably you as a consumer is specific and typical to you, in order to see how well or how different you can actually make use of your cash flow as a consumer. This is actually the big opportunity nowadays that I see. You know, move from products and I don't know, acquiring products or managing a product to even to the next level. I believe also that, for example, a very good foundation in this is the transaction categorization and the personal finance management tool. But this is like the first layer, you know, the first layer in which you give the consumer the possibility to see and understand how he spends. On top of it, yes, based on data and analytics, you know, this kind of insights and personalized advice about, okay, we saw that you did that and other peers of you behave differently. How about, you know, dialogue?
Okay, perfect. I think that will be a wrap up. So we have like 20 seconds. So thank you very much for being here and for offering a lot of insights about Super App and what you are planning to do in that matter. So thanks again. Alexandru, Mugur, Alina, Adina, and Dorian. A big round of applause for them.